Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. And I got to go back to a previous topic, and you'll be excited about this. So I have decided
to move.
I have decided. This decision
to move because your package has been stolen. The comments were right, everybody.
Yep, that's it. I locked my gate and I'm moving on. it's over. No,
just leave all your shit behind. New lifetime. And at your new house, you can order everything through Amazon to fill your new house because no one will steal it.
That's the hope. That's the hope. I actually I'm moving into an Amazon locker. Cutting out the middleman, and it's just, I'm living right there. Guys, gonna open up that thing. I'm gonna be like, thank you. Take it in, shut the locker, be good to go. I see no problems with this. Like, it makes sense.
No, I think you've actually found the solution that you've looked for this whole time.
No, but I actually did start watching this weekend because my son was getting very antsy. And I was like, I wonder if he'd like this. So I found that Alone streams on Hulu. And I turned on the first episode of Alone.
Oh, yeah? You picked it because you thought your son might like it?
Oh, he loves the outdoor stuff. And he did. He loved it. He was watching it. And I will tell you, at one point in it was like the first or second episode, one of the guys sees a bear. And he is now obsessed with bears. He wants to just watch videos about bears.
That's cool.
So it was actually like kind of interesting because he is now just like he just kind of goes bear, and he like draws. He's like water, bear, because it was one where the bear was over the water and started like walking across toward the guy. So he just is describing the bear and now just wants to watch videos about bears. He's like he thinks bears are the coolest.
What's
animals.
Funny about you saying him saying bear? That's basically what they do on the show.
That's true.
Hey bear, hey bear,
hey bear. But I will tell you, quite an impressive series. How
far have you made it?
So I theoretically should be done with season 1, but I'm not yet, so don't spoil it for me. I was just trying to watch it to finish it up and fell asleep before we started recording, and it was weird because I actually woke up and some guy was talking about his kids and how he started having kids when he was like really young, so basically the last 27 years of his life have been raising the kids, and now they're all moved out and stuff, and I was like, man, this dude's got a really deep voice. Like, these guys aged a lot while they were out there, but it turns out season 2 started playing. So I fell asleep and it was season 2, but so it's a new season. So I didn't catch...
I think someone's been digging down here or something. This isn't how I remembered it when we were last here.
I'm going to come down and I'm trying to make some pants. But I will say, I mainly brought it up to discuss, because now that I've seen most of season 1, like, we can discuss. But I wanted to go back to the conversation about when you asked what I would think about a show called Alone with them having a friend.
Yeah.
And you're right. Kind of weird.
Yeah. No, I have not enjoyed. I finally finished season 3, but I didn't enjoy it. Didn't like it. Wasn't for me.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping that in season 4 that they're all alone again.
There is so much of that show that is, predicated not only by the name, but on the fact that they are completely isolated from human contact. That having somebody else there would significantly shift the dynamic of that show. Now that I've like seen it and understand more about it.
Yeah, I hope that they didn't like what they got out of season 3 and they go back.
So it's really not that good.
I didn't like it at all. And it went really fast too. Like I think maybe there was, I don't know, like every season the people stay out there even longer than the last.
Well, that's because I don't even know how long they lasted in the first season. I know how quickly a majority of them go out, but I don't know how long they actually like last, because I haven't. It's one of the weirdest things I will say is that I don't know how many spoilers I want to give, but by day, like a very small number of days, more than half the people are gone, and kind of all of a sudden the show is like on many, many, many weeks in the future, and it's the same people that are still like nothing's happened with them, and I'm like, whoa, this is insane. But I guess that makes sense. If you don't start well, you're gonna bow out quickly, and if you do start well, I guess one of the guys at the beginning, and I don't remember if he's one of the guys that goes out early or not because they were flashing between so many people, made a comment about how his personal goal was to make it 90 days, and that if he made it 90 days, he might just tap out on his own because of the fact that he goes, if you can make it 90 days out here, you can make it 180 days. Like, it's not that much of a difference if you already make it to 90 to make it to 180. And I guess that's kind of like, he's accurate in that like concept.
Well, except for, I mean, have you made the part where basically winter rolls in on him?
Yeah, I'm like, so that's the episode I was watching like intently before I fell asleep. And I think it's the second to last episode is called like the freeze or something like that, and so winter
like
to,
the dynamic changes significantly once suddenly everything's frozen. There's no food. Like, I don't know, it changes pretty wildly. I
will say I'm shocked at to the point where I'm at that I've seen being at least 60 days into the stay, that some of the guys who went out early on had started building like shelters, like as opposed to a tarp or whatever. Like they were starting to build what looks like it was gonna be pretty intense shelters. Nobody seems to have a real shelter. There's still just
that changes in season 2 significantly. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but in the third season, like when it's the group,
they could probably
together,
have like an electrical grid. If they got 2 people, man, anything's possible.
Well, one
cable
family
run.
They build a house, like it's like a fucking house, like it's got like shelves and but I think the best building I've seen is actually in season 2. I'm not gonna talk about it there. I'll let you get there and see.
I don't doubt it, because there's been no good buildings from what I've seen thus far in season 1. And maybe they do have really good building, but it's gonna be like right near the end of the series, because I'm an episode and a half away from the end of it.
I can't wait till you watch season 2, because there's one of the guys that something happens to him, and it's I don't know, it's interesting how things play out for him, and I'm just have to wait till you get there and kind of see it.
I will say though, cool concept for a show, really well done. I don't 100% buy it.
I said that at the end too. You know what made me question it? It was the guy. Has a guy gone out yet because he wanted to see his mom?
I don't think so. There's been people who have gone out because they wanted to see their family, but it was more that like the environment they were in was they actually felt danger and wanted to see their family. But it sounds like you're saying that like he's just like, I'm done, gotta go see my mom, no, and that has not happened yet.
That's basically exactly what happened. And that was the point where I was just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, this is not believable.
The main reason I don't necessarily buy it, and I'm not saying it's a fake show, but I think there's a lot more that we're not being shown, is these people are complete amateurs. One guy even at the beginning was talking about how one of the biggest problems he had was trying to get the audio equipment or the camera equipment set up, and it added such a different dynamic to it. They have way too good of, camera shots, and the things that they're setting up for camera shots for being completely amateurs, and some of them very like not into technology. I don't buy.
I mean, it's all GoPros. They're using all GoPros. And I still don't understand
how they're getting batteries.
I believe they're doing solar charging because the GoPros. No, you can seriously charge a GoPro's battery like super easy with the little solar pad things.
And they're not using these solar pads for anything else?
No. They don't have anything else with them to use it on. I mean, they're keeping their phone charged too.
They could use those things to start fires.
I don't see how.
Well, you use batteries all the time to start fires in wilderness survival. Like, they'll go find old cars that are, left in the woods to die. You can use the batteries easily to start fires. Like, I don't buy it.
Someone's asking how they quit. So they all have a satellite phone with
Your
them.
mind is asking how they quit.
Yes, I'm being questioned internally. How do they quit? And they have a satellite phone, and so they can call in case of emergency or if they're just ready to leave in general. But they don't show it, but they are visited like once a week by medical personnel too.
Yeah, they definitely don't show or discuss that, and so that's I wish they would talk about that more, because that
I'm surprised they didn't. They
that
do
would
in
make
the other
it more
seasons.
real to me, because it gives me more of a reason. Because right now you're expecting me to believe the way you set up the show that they drop them off, they never have contact with the human again until they quit or until they win, and that's clearly not the case.
Yeah, they show that in the other seasons.
That's why it makes me feel like it's fake. And I know, like, if you were to say, like, once a week we set up, they have a medical visit to make sure that we feel like it's safe for them to go on, and maybe we replenish their GoPros, we replenish their batteries or whatnot at that point, I would be like, damn, straight on. Like, I get it now.
I mean, let me Google how their batteries are. I mean, I believe it's solar because I've seen like the GoPro solar things, and it's like 2 hours to charge a battery, and the batteries last fucking forever. I don't know if you ever used the GoPro.
Bullshit. My GoPro's batteries last about 40 minutes. Trust me, I use them in the for my shower vlogs, and I got about 40 minutes of recording from start to finish.
Really?
I usually have about 3.
Whenever I used them at the conventions, it would be like 3 hours. Huh? I wonder if I have different batteries than you. Because I remember we'd always set them up on the at the booths.
Yeah, but so we set them up at the booths, though. But they did snapshots. It was the ones that Drew set up.
Oh yeah, I guess it wasn't. It
every
wasn't
10
movie. You're right.
seconds they took a snapshot, not a video recording.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And that's completely significantly different. And I think he actually hardwired those into power as well.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. Drew knows what the hell he's doing. I imagine like a guy named Drew sitting with each of those people and alone.
They are trained survival experts at least, so they're not amateurs in that regard.
No, agreed. They're not survival experts and camera experts. No, at least not all of them. I'm sure some of them are. Some of them probably have YouTube channels.
But I honestly believe that with enough, I'm sure there's so much footage that gets left behind. I think that they could manage to do some decent shots.
Oh, I'm sure they can do some. I just saying, like, it really makes me, in watching it, I don't know. Some of it just makes me question that you can be by yourself doing the shots they're doing in the survival situation that they're in, especially near the beginning when they were struggling, but they were like, oh, I can barely pass this stream that I have to pass to go see if there's water, but I'm also going to set up this camera here to show me leaving, and then one on the other side that shows me arriving. Because clearly you have to do 2 takes for that. I'm just saying, that's my opinion. The show is very good. Nobody should not watch the show.
Okay, so there's a Reddit thread where the contestants talk about it. It's so good,
in fact, that's why I question it. So, like, if it's deterring you from wanting to watch it, it should not at all.
The contestant says that they start with close to 100 batteries, and then they're resupplied as needed. And they said, how are you resupplied? They said, we use our phone to contact them when we're running low on batteries.
And when we get contact.
And we get new batteries when they do medical checkups. They have enough batteries to and memory sticks to last 2 weeks.
So what do you think about this now that you read this on the concept of no human contact?
Well, I mean, I think that the medical stuff, makes sense. I mean, it says here also they have a drop-off box.
The dynamic of being quote unquote alone, that every even week or two you have human contact with people who come and make sure you're okay.
Well, I don't think they come every week, like because they show all the medical ones in the later seasons, and they went as far as a month at one point without coming by at all. And it does say here that the battery stuff is at a drop-off location, so they don't actually see anyone when they do that.
Oh, interesting. Battery stuff's at a drop-off location.
Yeah, probably kind of like tree mail.
You can't tell me that you don't think the people in Survivor watch the people go to tree mail sometimes.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, you know how they always are like, let's walk over to tree mail. Oh, look, we have tree mail. I guarantee somebody was like, dude, I just watched, Jeff Probst or his, like, crony just go put something in the tree mail bucket, get the camera guy. We're going over this way.
Oh, yeah. No, see, now Survivor, I feel like Survivor's lost a lot of its authenticity, honestly.
Have you watched any of the new season yet?
I haven't. I'm 2 seasons behind.
Yeah, I started watching the new season because I kept seeing a bunch of articles in the paper that were trying to spoil... in the paper, like online, that we're trying to spoil the
I was about to say, in the paper, really?
Picked up the Survivor post and wondered why there was all these articles about
yeah,
Survivor. Yeah, so I'm caught up in the new season thus far, but some very entertaining things happening. This season is it's shaping up to be decent.
Okay. Well, you said you liked the last one too, right?
Yeah, the last one was okay. It wasn't super spectacular, like nothing crazy and insane if I recall. This one's got some new twists and a bunch of new challenges. So they must have got like new challenge creators or something like that, because I was definitely getting sick of the old challenges. I just threw one of my picks on accident into the garbage disposal thing.
The garbage disposal?
Well, whatever you call throw all your
the thing down there,
shitty box here, and I don't see it showing up here anyway. I guess
it
really
takes it
behind,
a while. It's probably in the hoppers. Go check the hoppers and see.
It'll show up eventually. It was almost dead.
Yeah.
So we needed to change it out anyway.
So did you dig out this part to the ravine here, where it kind of loops around, or did someone else do that?
You talking about like how it's a circle on the ravine? No, somebody else must have done that, but I did a lot of digging around there last week, but it definitely looks like somebody else came in.
Okay, that's our content.
Significant amount. What's our what?
I said that's our content.
No. Feel free to come dig this damn thing out, please, people.
Well, then what we do?
You say it's our content. Well, give somebody something else to look at as opposed to me breaking blocks. Prettifying the planting seeds, we got a lot of that to do still.
That's
like
true.
8 episodes worth of that to do. Look at all those creepers up top, man. Whoa. Yeah, they didn't dig out too much here compared to, like, because I've been working around this area for a while. But there's clearly somebody has done some work. Whoa, hit control instead. It's like a mini ravine as well.
Mini?
It is a mini. Like, where's the real ravine that runs through here? Wait. I guess maybe I should take back what I said. Did they push back like multiple layers?
I don't know.
Wasn't there a huge ravine that we would fall in and we kept dying? I kept dying.
I think that's it, isn't it?
This is very. Look at it. It's very small.
Uh.
Maybe somebody leveled it out and we had just been doing... So somebody might have actually done a significant amount of work that... Because this is not that deep.
Oh, like filled it in to the level it's going to be at there?
Right.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, because this is not that deep. Yeah, I'm thinking somebody came and did a decent amount of work, actually. Look, there's gold. We're at gold level.
Yeah, I saw some gold in the wall. Oh, that's where... That is the gold I was about to talk.
So far there's only 3 episodes or 3 seasons of Alone.
No, there's 5.
There's 5.
Yeah.
So
no, I just haven't gotten through 3. 3 bored me to tears, and just kind of, it's awful. I think personally, I didn't like it at all. I've had a hard time getting through it.
Is it just because there's 2 people and it makes it so it's like you're
it
almost watching like a
it's
mini series as opposed to like people alone trying to survive? They're just like building a house and a shelter, getting married.
Basically.
Sending their kids to school.
And then that one, you know what? That might be season 4 actually, where they're on. Yeah, I think it is season 4 because they change locations. They go to like somewhere else for one season.
Wow, that would be a location change if it was somewhere else.
I was trying to remember where as I was speaking. I couldn't remember. So yeah, it might be on the 4th season actually. But they go to like Singapore or some shit. I don't remember where it was now exactly. Peru, somewhere. I don't fucking know. I think it was Peru actually. And there's like red tide or something like that that's going on in one season, so they can't eat any shellfish.
That makes survival a little bit difficult.
Yeah. But honestly, I was glad they changed. I think that was also part of what made the season kind of boring. Whenever they come back, I think they recorded season 3 and 4 at the same time. I think they recorded, they had people doing the stuff in the other country, and they also had people still in Vancouver doing the couples thing. And going back to Vancouver, it felt like there was a lot of repetition there of like, well, I've kind of seen all this. This was all already done.
This one guy come across like somebody else's old tent. And they're like, hey, that's where Jim used to live.
I do like the way that wherever they leave, they show them like step by step taking down. Yeah, I like that.
Except the one guy who they had to extract in the middle of the night because it was too dangerous.
It was Argentina where they were at for 3. Season 5 is Mongolia.
Yeah, I guess that can definitely
I'm hoping
significant challenges, like different.
Yeah, I'm hoping 5 is. Yeah. I like that.
I was gonna say I did find it strange that it was in Vancouver and there was only one guy from Canada on the show, and everybody else was from like Middle America.
Right. Should bring back Utopia.
I mentioned something about Utopia the other day, and Julia was like, "Oh, now I'm sad. I want to see more Utopia."
Jeez. Said no one ever.
Well, I think we got really sucked into that because it was like, remember that first week, and they had like 3 different 2-hour specials the first week on it because of all the live recordings, and they just thought it was going to be such a big show. It like really sucked us into wanting to see it through. Because the whole
way
thing
they tried to like make
long,
it
right?
where it was supposed to just be an ongoing thing.
Well, that was supposed to last for a year, 1 year.
Oh, was it just 1 year?
Yeah.
Shit, I thought for some reason it was like they had this community and they can keep adding and removing from it. But I don't remember now.
They could have had like 6 Utopias since they started that.
Yeah.
This is
I think it's weird that they expected like it's just the song probably cost more than they made.
The guy, I think one of the downfalls of that show was the fucking narrator dude.
Yeah, narrator was real bad.
Made no sense to even have a narrator for the way that they were doing stuff. Just show me the goddamn live feed, and as opposed to having this, hipster narrator with this handlebar mustache wearing this like top hat shit. Like he turned me off so bad to that show. And I was one of the guys who loved the show.
I don't know. It got pretty bad pretty fast, honestly.
I mean, it did, but it could have been better.
I think having to make a podcast about it too made it only worse.
Well, because we really scrutinized it all.
Well, or just having honestly, watching Survivor and that show in a podcast format kind of ruined the shows for me because it was like the notes that were needed to be able to talk about it that week was just like, man, I'm watching the scene, rewinding, rewatching it. Like,
so true. However, as I was watching this episode, this newest season of Survivor, I think our podcast would be fun to have again, just because there's such different things that are happening, and that I would love to discuss. But You haven't.
Did that ever get more than like 100 views?
No. It didn't do. Like, I'm not saying from a successful podcast standpoint. Come on. I'm talking from my own selfish, like, I want to discuss the show standpoint. No, that was a very, very low key. The only people that did watch it were like very, very, very into it. But
didn't you have another podcast with some guy?
Yeah. Actually, we're gonna try to start that up again soon. Actually.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
And that's again more for us to just sit around and people I used to sit around and bullshit with at the bar all the time. You know, that's what that's about. We don't really care how many views there are.
Podcast is a hard game to be in, really.
It is. I mean, and that's why, like, it's... And I don't even know, like, we did upload to iTunes, but it's more just, like, video. Like, you guys did the Minecraft podcast. It's essentially that format of, you know, how that one ended was we're just uploading videos of people bullshitting about stuff to YouTube.
The Minecraft podcast was actually successful in terms of like viewership and like advertising.
Well,
like getting ads and stuff.
Just like knock down my podcast.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that's the only podcast I've ever been a part of that was worth a damn. Like the Shaft, that thing was awful.
Wasn't that really successful at the beginning though? Like, wasn't that?
I
like,
think it was. I think it did have
podcast?
a success time. I mean, see that's one of those things where I don't know. My perception of it is weird because I used to always listen to it like this before I knew those guys at all, and I would it was like religiously listen to it while I mowed grass every week. So I don't know if it was super successful or it was just successful in my mind because it was something I always listened to.
I had never.
But
heard
I feel
of it
like it had a time.
I'd never heard of it until you got involved with it and you were talking about it, and then you had me as a guest on there one day, and I'd never seen it before or listened to it before. And I was like, I'm not really sure about this podcast. But that was just my personal. I could never really sit down, as much as we played Minecraft back in the day, I could never sit down and just watch a Minecraft podcast.
Yeah, I mean, if it wouldn't have been for the grass mowing, I probably never would have watched any of it either, or listened to it, I guess. But that show had a weird dynamic anyways. Like, the personalities were so different. It's just a different type of show, really. I don't know. I wanted to throw Brent's guitar in the river, though.
I have no idea about his guitar.
He would always just whip out this guitar and start playing.
In the middle
there
of
was
the
these
podcast?
really long. Well, sometimes, but then sometimes there was just these really long pre-shows and post-shows where there was lots of guitar, and you felt like obligated to stay, and it was just like, this is my life, and I want it out.
I take it he never got a big solo career with guitaring.
I don't know what those guys do now.
They call it guitaring.
Guitaring. Yeah, I don't know whatever. I don't know what happened to any of those guys.
No, well, you don't have to one of those guys.
Well,
you still
yeah.
contact you. You still talk to him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's Wes, but Wes left. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought like Wes was like super like active in like the podcast and like was super into the organization, and then like once I joined the group, I realized that Wes did nothing.
He was just a guy that was there.
He was just there. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the best. That's the best personality to have, I guess. If I had a podcast and like everybody was like, "Man, Jeff must be the meat and bones of this podcast." Now, is really a guy who just showed up and did nothing else except like be there for the podcast? Perfect.
It's weird how you look at something from the outside, and then once you're in, you're like, "This is nothing like I thought it was." But anyways, we're out of time for today.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time.